All right, welcome back to the OMG Strike Zone, and there you can see none other but the SWAC, or 2023 SWAC Head Coach of the Year and soon-to-be FCS National Coach of the Year. I'm just speaking in English.
There you go.
Head Coach Willie "Shotgun" Simmons. Coach, congratulations. How you feeling tonight, Coach?
Man, feeling awesome. Again, just excited about this weekend and playing our first championship game here in the SWAC, being able to host, again, the honors coming out and having offensive and defensive players of the year, 13 all conference members. Just a lot of great things going on within the program, and excited about, just continuing this great season that we have and finishing this thing off the right way.
Coach, I love your focus and commitment to the process, and really I love the phrase about being where you are. Where did you cut where did your philosophy and learning how to stay where you're at in the moment, the process, things that on the outside sound cliche, but really making it a way of life, where did that start for you as a coach, or maybe even as a player?
I think it's all a part of just really a culmination of my upbringing, here in Quincy, Gadsden County, the game of football and sports in general, being a fairly decent athlete, three-sport athlete coming up. Once I got into coaching, just trying to listen and learn as much as I could. I was blessed to be able to play for Tommy Bowden, who's obviously the son of Bobby Bowden, one of the greatest coaches of our generation. So just the life lessons that he poured into us every day, and then being able to work for Rick Stockstill, Jay Hobson, those gentlemen, and just really seeing the grind that football is all about. Rick Stockstill's what you would consider a player's coach, someone who really pours into his young men and really shows them how much he cares. And then Jay Hobson kind of took a different approach. I mean, it was all about ball, and was a grinder, But again, at the end of the day, really challenge the guys daily to bring it and be their best. And so just taking how I was raised, my personality, the people that I've been blessed to be around, and just trying to read and listen to other coaches, and whether it be seminars or coaching conventions, just trying to, find like-minded individuals and really shaping my philosophy through that. And that's where it came from. But I've always been an advocate of, again, just, living in the moment and really embracing where you are, and not so much, I know you got to look in the rearview mirror sometimes. You got to learn from your mistakes. You got to make corrections and continue to try to get better. You got to look ahead at times to kind of make sure the goals that you set for yourself are realistic and that you're on the right path to accomplishing those goals. But the main thing is, like you said, being right here where your feet are, and just really diving into this process every day to be your very best. And that's a challenge for us all, not just as a football team, but as students, as young men, as aspiring, future husbands and fathers and community leaders. I think it's important that these guys take these principles that we've learned throughout this season and apply them to every facet of their lives. And so, again, the success we have on the field, I think, goes hand in hand with the success, hopefully, that they have off the field.
Appreciate that. Go ahead, Marcus.
Once again, congratulations, Coach, on winning a SWAC Coach of the Year. I don't know if you got a chance to catch our previous segment. We had 3 players from the Billy Joe team speak about the last time that FAMU hosted a postseason game in Bragg. And can you elaborate, go in a little bit more detail, or go into detail on how it feels to host another postseason game, and the, I don't want to say benefits, but the difference that it makes versus having to go on the road?
Well, obviously, it's an honor to be able to host the SWAC championship game. I'm really excited that the SWAC went to this format a few years ago. Back during my time at Alcorn State, and even at Prairie, the championship game was played at a neutral site. And so, both teams had to travel, and logistically, there's some things that had to take place. But once they went to the model of the highest rated team hosting, it really gave institutions a chance to really improve on a lot of things and really expose everyone to the universities. And so to be able to bring everyone to Tallahassee, first and foremost, the economic impact that will have, to be able to again, have people come into Bragg Memorial Stadium. If you've never been to a SWAC championship, oftentimes it's not just the 2 championship teams. You're going to see, Letterman jackets and logos from really probably every SWAC team, because football fans go to the championship games, and so again, you're very likely to see people from Southern, from Grambling, from Alabama State, they're watching the championship game, for the ones who want to see it in person. And so just that exposure that it brings is a great thing. But as far as the advantages, quote unquote, again, it's our home field. And so, we have the nation's second longest home win streak. That gives our students a chance to come to the game. They're always turned up. DJ Loose Kid always has the atmosphere rocking. The Marching 100, even though Prairie is bringing their band as well, the Marching 100 will be there in full effect. And then, 15, 16, 17,000, Rattler fans. And that's the exciting part about hosting the game, is that we get a true home atmosphere for the championship game. And, some people may look at it as an advantage, but I think that's a benefit of going through the regular season as the highest rated team. You get that luxury. And the SWAC's not only the conference that uses that model. There are other mid-major conferences that do the same thing. But I really do think it's a great idea to allow universities the opportunity to host the championship games on their campuses.
Go ahead, Kelvin.
Coach, it's no easy feat to, with the expectations this team had, to meet those expectations and get to this point. It's no easy feat to be coach of the year. And I know you focused in on the game and all that kind of stuff. But over the last 3 years, ever since you came in, you've had a winning record. And just as a head coach, even at Prairie View, and then the last 3 years, you've been 9-2, 9-2, 10-1 with FBS games on the schedule. What do you attribute your sustained excellence to?
Well, one, I think it's about surrounding myself with really good people. Coach of the Year is an individual award, but I think any coach that's won the award can tell you, we don't do it alone. There are a lot of individuals that are responsible for the success that we're having on the football field. I have 10 amazing coaches that come to work every day, pour into these young men, do everything that's asked of them to lead these guys. We have a phenomenal support staff, that really understands my vision for how to grow this program and do it the right way, because it's student athlete driven. Everything we do is about the student athlete. And so I think the success that we've had at 2 places has largely been because of that. And really just trying to get these young men to understand the opportunity they have to be a student athlete at FAMU. That was, and I've said it before, that was one of the first things that I did when I took the job back in 2018. And one of those very first team meetings, may have been the first team meeting, after we kind of talked about what we wanted to be, how we wanted the program to look. I asked the team if anyone on the team could sing the school alma mater, and no one could. And I said, right then, we got a long way to go because clearly guys don't have the love and the passion and appreciation for Florida A&M that you need in order to go out there every day and give it your all for this school, for your brothers. When you say you're part of this family, it's a real thing. And so we really wanted to make the guys understand that. And I told them that day, we'll win when everyone buys into that philosophy, not a day before. And so thankfully for us, we had a great group of seniors that first year in 18 that really bought into it. And it's just grown since then, So had the first winning season in 6 seasons in 18. And since then, it's been 9 wins, 9 wins, 9 wins. And we finally been able to get over the hump to 10 wins this year and playing for a championship. So, again, all those things have led to us getting to this point. It wasn't an overnight success. We've been at this for 6 years now, and it's great to finally see the fruits of our labor, paying off.
Coach, if I'm not mistaken, I was looking back since 2014, that was your first year at Alcorn. That was the year you guys went to the SWAC Championship game, correct? And you guys won that game, right?
2014 was my last year at Alcorn, actually.
Okay, I'm sorry.
12 was my first. But that was the year we won the SWAC Championship. Yes, the first SWAC Championship for Alcorn while I was there. But
maybe that's okay. That's what it was. So I get my question was going to be related to that. Obviously, it wasn't a home game. That was a neutral site. But just the preparation that goes into preparing for that game. Have you done any kind of looking back on whether it be thoughts or notes you might have took back in helping you with this week, or has it been conversations you've had with other coaches over the past 7-8 years? Give us a little background on the preparation and the planning that went into reminding your guys about the importance of this game, or just this game in general.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we'll see the outcome on Saturday, and whether our philosophy led to us finishing this thing off. But me personally, I didn't approach it any differently than any other game we prepared for this season. I'm real careful about putting too much emphasis on one game and saying, hey, this is a classic game, or this is a rivalry game, or this is a championship game. This is an FBS opponent or Division II, because I don't want to get our guys in the habit of riding the emotional roller coaster, so to speak. I don't subscribe to that philosophy of getting up for a game or playing down to your competition. At the end of the day, it's our job to play Rattler football, and if we prepare to play Rattler football, the results take care of themselves. And so whether we're playing an FBS opponent, a Power 5 opponent, whether we're playing a quality Division II team, a conference foe, or a rival, it's the same approach. We don't change our practice schedule based on who we're playing or what time of year it is. And so, yeah, we had a bye week between the Classic and the championship game. We treated it as a normal bye week. The only change we had to make was accounting for Thanksgiving. And so we always try to get 3 practices in during the bye week. We take 2 days after the game for academics, practice 3 straight days, give them a couple of days off, and then come back on Sunday for scouting report. We used that same schedule last week. The only difference was we didn't go on Thursday because of Thanksgiving. So we went Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, gave them Thanksgiving off, Friday off, and then Saturday, and we brought them back Sunday for our scouting report. So, try to keep routine. Our guys operate better when they're in a routine. When you start switching things up on them, it kind of throws them off the game a little bit. So, again, we'll see the results Saturday, but we've tried to be as consistent as possible with how we prepared all season. I don't think you change anything because it's a quote-unquote championship game. It's the next game on the schedule. We fully prepared to play 13 games this season. That's all we talked about since we got the training camp in August. We have an opportunity to play 13. We're guaranteed 11. If we take care of business, we can play up to 13. And this is number 12. So we expected it. We worked for it. We're thankful to be here. But again, I don't think you change anything going into this championship game. And a lot of these guys do what they've done all season.
Gotcha. Go ahead, Marcus.
Coach Simmons, I wanted to ask, you have a senior-laden team. I believe there are 30 plus. And I don't know if all of them, my guess is just maybe half, or maybe here for the last time we were in the postseason of 2021. One of those not having been here yet, Jeremy Musa. What's your sense of the team's, I guess, mood and mindset going into, for some of them, that would be their first postseason game in college?
Yeah, I think the circumstances were a little different in 21. Obviously we went into the Classic, all the pressure of having to win the Classic and win it convincingly to be an at-large selection to the FCS playoffs. So we sat there on pins and needles that Sunday afternoon, waiting on a selection show. And so once we got the news that we were in the game, we were still in Orlando, and we did the selection show down at the law school in Orlando. So when we got the news, we were all very excited, but again, it threw our routine off. We're normally a Sunday practice team. And so we couldn't practice that Sunday because obviously we were in Orlando, had to try to make it back and get, ready for the week. And it was Thanksgiving week. So you're talking about we had to practice on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, try to do a little something on Thursday, and try to get back on schedule. So just the difference in mindset of, we're kind of blessed to be in the playoffs, but it was kind of a consolation prize, because we didn't take care of business in the conference. And so we wanted to win the game. We obviously wanted to have a chance to ascend as far as we could into the playoffs. But I think the mindset was totally different. This year we really went into the season saying championship or bust. The way we scheduled even, playing 2 Division II teams and just making the decision that we're not going to put this in the hands of the playoff committee. We're 100% locked in on the SWAC championship. And so now it's about, hey, this is the goal that we set for ourselves, and we got to go get it. Whereas in 21, it was kind of like, hey, we had to refocus, shift the mindset from SWAC championship celebration bowl to now playoffs because we kind of felt Jackson wouldn't lose twice. And so I think the team is just in a different posture that we prepared for this moment since January, so I think that's the difference. So there are not many guys that were on this team. Most of the seniors on this team weren't here. Jeremy Musa, Isaiah Major, a lot of those guys that are leading us right now were not a part of that team. And so this is their first experience in the postseason. But again, we're not looking at it as a postseason difference. We're looking at it as the next game.
Hey, Coach Freeze?
Yeah, maybe he did. Maybe he did.
You got me there?
Oh, we got you. Well, we hit
Yeah.
there. We got you now. We got you. Okay.
Yeah. So looking for a much better outcome this time. I think the mindset of this team is 100% different than the mindset of that team going into the LCS playoffs.
True. Kelvin, go ahead and wrap it up with Coach.
All right. I'm going to do one of my compound questions on this one, Coach. and done it in a while. So, and it's all related to the game Saturday. How are we in terms of health? Do we have, everybody ready to go for the most part who contribute? How does the rain, the projection of heavy rain and cold impact your game planning and preparation? And just your thoughts of playing on the team second time, Prairie View, and the kind of effort that I anticipate that they're going to come with because we did beat them handily the first time.
Yeah. So as far as health, we're relatively healthy. I think the only question mark will probably be Anthony Dunn. He'll be a game time decision, so we anticipate everyone else that has been playing to play. That includes Jeremy Musa, obviously, and the other guys that were somewhat limited the last couple of games of the season. So having a bye week, obviously after the championship, after the classic, going into the championship game really helped us get relatively healthy this late in the season. As far as the forecast and the weather, I don't pay attention to it at all. Again, I said it today in the 220 Club. I said it Monday in my coach's call. One, I don't talk about weather with our staff, with our team. The only thing I ever say about inclement weather is that all it does is expose bad fundamentals. If you're a good fundamentally sound football team, the elements won't affect you as much. Ball security, we preach ball security all the time anyway. So the fact that the ball is a little bit slicker shouldn't affect you if you're holding the ball the right way. Cat drops. Hey, we preach looking the ball into the tuck all the time, whether it's wet, dry, cold, or whatever the case may be. So that shouldn't affect us if we're playing fundamental football. Keeping our feet up underneath us, and so not slipping on a wet surface or those type of things. All comes down to keeping our balance and making sure that we're playing in a good football position. So these are all things that we coach from day one. And so if there's inclement weather, if it's cold, if the ground is slick, again, the team that has the better fundamentals will be the one that's less affected by the elements. And so the good thing about it, I've never seen a football game where it rains on one side and not the other side. I've never seen a game that snows on one side and not the other side, So whatever elements affect one team, they'll affect the other team. Well, not say affect, whatever elements are present, both.
Let's see. Let's give it a minute. I think he had a hiccup the last time as well. Let's see. I hope you didn't get sniped. There we go. We got you now,
Yeah.
Coach. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we want to be able to run the football, rain, sleet, or snow, and so obviously if it's inclement weather, you rely a little bit heavier on the run. But we want to be able to run the ball. We want to be able to stop the run. Obviously if it's inclement weather, they'll try to run the ball a little bit more. We want to be able to stop the run. We want to play sound on special teams, and we want to eliminate big plays. And so the game plan really doesn't change. How you call the game, obviously, may, just because you're probably not going to throw it around the yard as much if there's inclement weather. But at the end of the day, I'm not so much worried about it from that regard. And then finally, this is the next game up. So what happened on homecoming has no bearing. We don't think about it. We haven't talked about it. We did our scout report. We did an entire different scout report. We did an entire different game breakdown. They played 3 games since we played last. We played 3 games since we played last. And so we looked at the last 3 games they played, and we put our game from early in the season in the 4-game breakdown that we always do for each opponent. And so the plays that we practiced or that we ran or that we thought would be successful against them were based on the 4 games prior to us playing them for homecoming. The plays that we installed this week going into the game were based on the 3 games that they played last, and our game was the 4th. So the last 4 games they played. So it's the same preparation. Like I said, it doesn't change because it's a championship game. Same preparation. I fully expect them to come in and play championship level football. This is a championship game, right? And so it theoretically is the 2 best teams in the conference going toe to toe. And so, I think they'll come in with a lot of pride. They've taken advantage of their opportunities. That's the one thing I can't say about this bunch that we're going up against. They had to win out. They won out. Other teams on that side needed to win out. They didn't. And so they've been opportunistic. They've taken advantage of their opportunities, and they find themselves in a championship game. So our guys, again, but it's about us. It's about what we do. It's about how we prepare. It's about how we do the little things right on game day. And we do that. I think the outcome will be what we all expect. Not predicting a score, not predicting a blowout or anything of that nature. But I do believe if we play our best football and they play their best football, that I think we're a better team. And so for us, it's just about preparing to go do that. And if we can do that, I think we'll have the outcome that we all desire, and we'll be able to finish this thing off the right way.
Well, Coach, I can sort of unofficially confirm that regardless of the weather, the distraction committee will be there. They'll be they'll make sure in clear ponchos and all that other stuff. So I got to give you props for that one, Coach. That was great. I don't know if people picked up on it, but Rattler Nation knew. So that was beautiful how you had dropped that nugget in there. But
I'll tell you what, after that call, I actually had a chance to talk to Coach Broderick Fobbs earlier this week. he remembers the distraction committee. But I thought it would be appropriate to bring that out during the call. So I know hopefully Rattler Nation caught the gist of it, and it'll be nice if we can get that going on Saturday.
Hey, Coach, man, thanks for your time again. Congratulations to you. Congratulations to your staff and all of the support people, because I know, like you said, it's not just one person, not only on just the individual awards, but the final statistics in terms of defense and everything. And so have a great, peaceful rest of the week, and we look forward to seeing you on Saturday in Tallahassee, man. And let's go 1-0 every day the rest of this week. That's what we're talking about, right?
No doubt about it. Just be where your feet are and win the day. That's our motto. Be 1-0 this week. So thank you guys as always. I appreciate you for taking time out this evening to speak with us. And again, look forward to seeing you guys this weekend in Bragg on Ken Rile Field. It'll look a little different. They're out there painting some logos and all kinds of stuff to make it a SWAC championship game appropriate. So all my true Rattlers, don't be disappointed. I even heard some rumors, don't know if they're true or not, that they may even paint one of the end zones PV colors. So if they do, it's a championship game. All right. So in most championship game formats, the end zones are split. One is one team, one's the home team, one's the visiting team. So if they do, it will wash off. Just like the Pepsi logo, like the other things, it will wash off. So Rattler Nation, don't get too riled up if or take it out on them when you're cheering. If you come out there for game day and see one of the end zones purple and gold.
Oh yeah. You know, Rattler Nation gonna do what Rattler Nation do.
I fully expect it.
I appreciate the heads up, so that way we're not all totally caught off guard. Like, what the hell is this? So thank you for the heads up.
Just a reminder, this is a SWAC championship game. This isn't a FAMU home game. So ticket and parking, all those things. I know AD Sykes fielded a lot of questions today about it. And so just want to reiterate that to everyone that this is a SWAC championship game. It's just we're just the host site. That's all it is. So they're responsible for everything. Sponsorships, parking, all of those things. So Investing Champions members, you know, you had your first deal to get your parking spaces. But now they're open to the public. And so, you know, whether you get your old spot back or your spot for this season, can't guarantee that. So, again, just don't want to cause anything, that we don't need that to be the distraction committee. The distraction don't need to be the parking, all those things that surround the game, this game day experience. Again, just understand that this is a SWAC championship event that's hosted by the SWAC, that's put on by the SWAC. We just happen to be the host site. So, look forward to seeing everyone there. Get to the stadium early. Rattler Walk will exist. We'll still do Rattler Walk at 1:45. Again, weather doesn't change anything. The only thing changes is lightning. If it happens to be lightning, obviously we stop all activity. But a little rain never hurt anybody. So if it happens to, hey, wear your ponchos. You'll be fine. If you got your hair done, make sure you cover it up.
There you go. All right, Coach. Thanks for your time again. Congrats. Have a good night. We'll see you on Saturday. All right.
All right, guys. Thank you, guys. Go Rattlers.
All right. Go Rattlers. All right. Wow. All right. Let's take a short break and come back and let's talk to another former FAMU football coach, but also he was also one of the Prairie View A&M legends who helped lead them to a SWAC championship title as well. Coach KJ Black coming up on the other side after these words. You're watching the ONG Strike Zone right here on the Black College Sports Network.
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com. All right, Rattler Nation, we are not done. The show loaded up. The SWAC Championship preview show right here on the ONG Strike Zone, Black College Sports Network. Join us right now to give us both sides. He's got a feel for both sides of this thing in this matchup. Not only is he a former quarterback coach for FAMU, also a former coach and a Prairie View A&M legend. It is current Los Angeles Rams coach, assistant coach, KJ Black. Coach, how you doing tonight?
I'm great, man. I'm great. Hope y'all can hear me okay. I got my earbuds in. Am I sounding all right?
You sound great.
Good.
You sound
good.
great,
Yeah,
Coach.
man. It's great to see you guys, man. Long time no speak, man. How's everything going in Tallahassee?
It's going great right now, Coach. Hopefully your former team won't mess it up.
We're gonna do what we do, baby. The last time we was well, let me not say the last time, because the last time we didn't get it done, but I know in 2009 we got it done. So we're looking to make history again. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, hey, look. So just in case people aren't familiar with that 2009 year, of course, you helped lead Prairie View to its first title since 1964. You guys went on an 8-game winning streak when you became the starter. Almost one of those FAMU type legend stories that we've had guys who have done that. They came in kind of after a few games and then they just kind of take off. And you were the offensive player of the year in the SWAC. Go back to some of your memories of that 2009 season and just playing in that SWAC championship game, if you would.
Oh, yeah. As a matter of fact, I just had this conversation with ESPN because they're doing a special on HBCU, former players and also HBCU graduates who are a part of the NFL right now. And I actually had to tell this story. But 2009 was a magical season. It was one of those seasons of destiny. Again, I didn't start the year as the starter. And that was mainly my fault. And I tell people all the time that I wasn't mentally prepared to go in there and do what was necessary until that first game got going. And I realized, man, I didn't put my best foot forward. I didn't give it everything I got. But when I did get my opportunity, which was the New Mexico State game, which we should have won, they called back a long touchdown run that I had. We ended up only losing by two points. But ever since that moment, we just hit the ground running, and the offense just seemed to click better with me in there. And I went into the next game, the third game of the season, against Grambling State University, which being my first start, and we beat Grambling for the first time in over a decade, maybe almost 2 decades, if I remember correctly, in the State Fair Classic. And I just remember, you're talking about memories. I remember going up into the stands after that game in the Cotton Bowl, and alumni were hugging me, crying, telling me they had never seen PV beat Grambling. I remember, older women and stuff like that just crying and telling me thank you so much for coming to PV, because we thought we'd never see Grambling take an L to PV. And it just kind of went on from there. And if you were to go back and look at that team, there were so many All-Americans. I'm not just talking about All-Americans on that team, 4 or 5 guys that got opportunities to play in pro ball. And I'm talking NFL because there weren't that many leagues back then in 2009 like there are now. So it was a talented team, man. It was a talented team on both sides of the ball. And it was just, like I said, a year of destiny, man. It was fun to be a part of, and I'll always cherish those memories.
Wow, thanks for sharing that. Go ahead, Kelvin.
Coach, I'm interested to hear what you're doing now. I think you made a little shift. Well, year one in the NFL, I think you was working more with the quarterbacks. I think you're working with the receivers a little more right now. Kind of tell me how everything's going.
Yeah, so actually I'm kind of doing both. So I'm getting a chance to, I'm still responsible for meeting with our offensive coordinator, Mike LaFleur, and once he and Sean McVay and our quarterback coach, Zach Robinson, kind of put the final touches on the game plan, they bring it to me, they talk me through it, and I basically bring it to life for the team in terms of the display, the pictures and stuff like that. So that's a big part of what I do during the week. Meeting room wise, in terms of meetings, I'm either with the receivers or the quarterbacks, just depends on the day and how it kind of shakes out. So I'm getting a chance to hear it from the QB coach's mouth, from the OC's mouth, and from the receiver's mouth. So I'm getting it both ways. And on the field, you'll see me mainly with the receivers, mainly because they asked me to use my old messed up arm to throw them the ball a little bit, but also getting a chance to teach them and work fundamentally with them as well. So I'm kind of excited and glad that Sean had that talk with me about moving to the receivers, because now I can add that to my resume that I have, been in the receiver room. I talk to them more than just about plays. I'm helping those guys learn releases, attacking leverage, using our hands at the second level, things like that. So I'm not just a quarterback coach. I've done tight ends before. Now I can add receivers to my resume. So it's been great.
Okay.
That's awesome. Go ahead, Marcus.
Well, kind of capitalizing on what you were just speaking on, can you give us an update on Xavier Smith?
Whew, can I? This is what I say about Xavier Smith. If you were to, and I wish you would walk in, I was hoping, I'm in a big room. I hope I'm not echoing, but I had to move away from my office because it was kind of loud. A lot of the defensive coaches are near my office, and one of them is Raheem Morris. And his favorite guy on our scout team, on our look team, is Xavier Smith. And the reason why he's his favorite, because he's the one who gives the best effort every day, makes plays on all three levels of the field every day, and he's challenging our DBs at practice and making those guys better. And you got to think, we're a young team. I know, you guys were on opposite ends of the country, but we're a young team. So you got, first and second year corners going up against Xavier, who's a rookie himself, and those guys go at it every day. If I could, I would show you guys film of catches he made today, attacking the ball, going up and getting it, and guys, and you hear people on the sideline going, ooh, like they weren't expecting a 5'9" guy to go up and get the ball over the middle like that. So he's doing well, man. It's about waiting for your opportunity. The same thing that happened with Marquise Bell. Marquise had to wait a full year until the chips just fell his way. But when you get in there, you can't come out. You got to show him that you can do it. Me and X have had that talk multiple times, and he's ready. He's ready. He just has to be patient. And when he gets his time, whether it's this year, whether it's training camp, whether it's preseason, he's got to be ready, and he will be.
Nice.
All right. Thank you.
I wanted to hit up because a couple people in the chats dropped a few dimes here. Bull said, did you predict that FAM would go 10-1 at the beginning of the year?
I mean, I was there for 3 years. I know half the team, so I know the talent. Yeah, I did, and I mean, it's, to be honest with you, the one loss at South Florida, I told people, don't be surprised if y'all won that one. It wasn't a talent issue. It was just execution. Right. It was the same thing in, what was that, 2021 when we went down there. We put up 400-some yards of offense on USF then. So and I had this conversation with a couple of our scouts. The gap, and we're talking about levels of college football, the gap isn't between FCS and G5. It's FCS to Power 5. We can play with any G5. If we're talking FAMU talent-wise, they can play with any G5 in the country. Right, it just comes down to, are they going to execute better than the other team that day? But there's not a big talent gap. Now you're talking, University of Florida, you're talking Kentucky. Okay, there's a little bit of difference in the trenches there, but there's not that big of a gap to where you can't be confident going into a G5 stadium and getting the W. So, I mean, they showed the last couple of times, and I think Troy, you guys have Troy on the schedule next year, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That should be a W. We should be talking about FAMU beating Troy next year. So, it can be done.
So as you seen this team, and from this angle, it almost feels like our expectations, well, let's just say the defense has done what we thought it would do. I don't think there's a person watching, listening, that didn't think the defense would be as good as it turned out to be. The offense has probably, to most people's expectations, has been incomplete in some quarters. We've seen good halves. We've seen good quarter. I don't think we've seen 4 straight quarters of everybody's expectation. Now, you obviously you get a chance to see it at the pro level. Is that even realistic to have 4 good quarters? I mean, how do you evaluate what you see from the offensive side of the ball for FAMU this year?
That's a great question. And to be honest with you, we've only had one game where we had 3 quarters of execution and satisfaction on our end and at the pro level. So, number one, to get that at the collegiate level, whether it's FCS or Power 5, is going to be tough. It's going to be tough, but that doesn't mean you can't strive for that. That doesn't mean you can't expect that. Just watching FAMU, because I probably watched every game, just because, again, me and Willie have such a great relationship. And again, Musa, me and Willie both brought Musa there, and I always want to see how he's doing. I've even had a couple of our quarterback coach and our, special assistant to the head coach have asked about Musa, because they seen him throw on TV or something, and they're like, man, he got a nice little mustache. Yeah, he does. He can sling it now. But it's I think the reason it's up and down, I think those guys sometimes get bored, and I'm outside in. I don't know this, but I think they get bored because they know they're more talented than everybody. So there may be times where they're just not as focused as they should be. Maybe their technique lacks because they, have just felt like, we're going to win this game. I can just show up and win. But when you see them play those teams who are close to talent and they know they have to be locked in, they turn it on.
Yeah.
And I think that's, they just have to be mentally focused Saturday, because I'm telling you, Prairie View has a chip on their shoulder. They've been doubted all year.
Yeah.
Bubba McDowell said it in the at the media days at the beginning of the year. We finished fifth. That's all I'm gonna say. We shouldn't have been that low. And he's used that as motivation for those guys. And look, here we are now, and they're in the championship game, and they're still feeling like they're underrated. So FAMU cannot sleepwalk through this game. Okay, and in the weather, everybody's talking about the weather. I think that goes both ways. I think it helps both teams because both teams want to run the ball anyway, if we're being honest. But FAMU has to come ready and prepared to play if they want to give themselves a chance to win and get what we all think they should be. If we're talking about being realistic in terms of the talent level, they should be representing the SWAC. Well, they have to show up on Saturday and do what they're supposed to do.
Appreciate that. Go ahead, Kelvin.
Coach, I'm gonna get a little juicy here. I want you to kind of talk about what's your thoughts on some of the coaching decisions in the SWAC, particularly on that west side. And my follow-up to that is, are you looking? Are you interested in coming back to the field coach?
All right, so let's. There are some decisions. There are some decisions that I've looked at in the SWAC West and asked myself, why are they moving on so quickly? And mainly the one from Grambling, because number one, Hugh just got there. His ability to provide resources to Grambling has been big time. And you cannot say that they haven't improved on the field from year one to year two. So that one scratched my head and made me think. You can kind of make an argument for Dooley, but the Southern that's who Southern is. I talked to somebody in the coaching ranks in the HBCU world as well, and they said Southern's always been like that with their coaches. They'll fire you in a heartbeat. If it's not close to what they think you should be doing, you got a chance of being fired at Southern. So that's what they've always been. So we shouldn't be shocked by that. Whether you agree or not, you shouldn't be shocked by that one. And then Texas Southern, I think McKinney got a shot. They've always been a school that'll give you all 4 years. Sorry about that. They give you all 4 years to get it done. And Coach McKinney just didn't do enough in their eyes. So there's a lot of turnover in the West, but who's not having a lot of turnover? Prairie A&M. If you look at the records the last few years or the last decade, who's right there, right below FAMU? Prairie A&M is right there. So there's a reason why they've been so successful, because they give their coaches a chance, man. In my opinion, they give you a chance to go in there and put your imprint on the program. And Bubba's done a great job getting those guys prepared and getting where we all, in terms of when I say we as PV fans, we expect to be competing for championships, and we're getting a chance to do that. And then your second part of your question, to be honest with you, my agent and I, we talk all the time, and he'll bring stuff to me that he thinks I should look at. And if somebody were to call my agent and we had a conversation, I'll consider it. But my phone's been pretty dry, I'll tell you that. So if you were to ask my wife would say we ain't going nowhere. She loves LA. So, they need to call her before they call me, because
Understood.
Go ahead, Marcus.
Coach Black, I wanted to ask you, so what, if you were to look in your crystal ball, come Saturday evening about 7:30, what would you expect to be scrolling across the ESPN screen on the results of the SWAC championship game?
So I'll give you a headline. Physical wet day ends in a historic game for Prairie A&M.
Oh, okay.
I expect it to be. I expect it to be a physical game. I expect, because if you listen to Bubba talk, they were missing some big time guys for them. Like, they don't have the depth that FAMU has, obviously, but they do have some guys that I think can play, and a few of those guys didn't play. So you're talking about adding the big pieces for Prairie View. If we're being honest, I think it's going to be I think it's just going to be physical. I don't think there's going to be a lot of passes thrown, especially on the purple and gold side. That's just not what they do. If they get behind us, they're in trouble. If they get behind by 2 or 3 touchdowns, they're in trouble. But if they can hang around and like I said, if they can hang around and lean on their D-line, which is the best part of their team to me, their ability to play up front and get after the quarterback, that gives them a chance. Now, if it becomes a shootout, the sun comes out and it's a shootout, I'm just hoping and praying that we can stay in the game. But I expect a physical game. I expect a nasty game. I expect a old school, who can move who can keep their footing and make plays when they have to make them. And like I said, I'm hoping that the home team gets it done. But I definitely know the talent that FAMU has. I'm not going to act like they're not the most talented team, not only in the SWAC, but in all HBCU. So it's going to be a tough one, and the only way we could do it for Prairie View is just have to make it an ugly game.
Yeah.
Let me follow up with that. Trezon Conley. I don't know. We had some guys. It's funny you were talking about Xavier Smith. Kanan Lamb was on the show earlier, and he was talking about how Xavier had reached out to him back in the day when he was at FAM. I'm just curious, what's your evaluation on Trezon Conley? I mean, he's one of the 2 or 3 returning quarterbacks from last year. And so it's really, I feel it's not surprising to me to see Prairie View and FAMU in this because, I mean, obviously, Prairie View had to beat Texas Southern in that first game of the year. Unfortunately, Andrew Body got hurt. And so really the 2 returning quarterbacks from a year ago are in this championship game, the only 2 who are still standing, so to speak. What's your take on him? And is he, how do you feel he will do in this environment, in this situation? Have you seen the kind of growth from him that can help Prairie View pull off that magical upset like you just described?
So I had the opportunity to be there when we recruited and signed Trezon. I think I was, if I remember correctly, that was Dooley's first season at Prairie View. And Trezon was one of those initial signees for his first class. And I have definitely seen the maturation and growth from Trezon. I think that's the biggest thing he brings to this game for them is his ability to be calm. He's never too high, never too low. That's something I know Bubba's always appreciated that from Trezon. I think he's got a better understanding of when to run and how to run, right? He knows when to run out of bounds, when to get down. That's a key thing for a quarterback. I don't always have to run through guys. I don't have to take shots. I want to get through the entire game. You know what I mean? Not just try to run everybody over and make Sports Center. But, I think I've always wanted more from Trezon in terms of his timing and rhythm, playing from the pocket. I think that's kind of up and down. But when he's on, he's tough to deal with. If he does, play with a little bit of timing and rhythm and the ball comes out at the right time, he's tough to deal with because he can run as well. But, definitely the one thing you cannot sleep on him, he's mature. He's come from behind a couple times this season, so he can do that. And you just have to play him honest. You have to play him honest because if he gets out and he gets a straight line, there's not a lot of people that's going to catch him.
Any other X factor players or guys that Rattler Nation should kind of pay attention to as we watch the other side, that Prairie View side?
Yeah, of course the backfield. We're going to try to run the ball. I'm sure that's a Mark Frederick staple, who's offensive coordinator. He wants to run the ball. Him and Ashton Green, who's the offensive line coach there, they want to run the ball. So, Caleb Johnson and Ahmad Antoine are probably going to get 30 to 40 carries together. Like it's going to be a lot of runs, I would expect. If I were them, I would try to keep the ball out of FAMU's hand. Don't let Jeremy sit back there and pick you apart, and don't let Terrell and Kelvin Dean get going. Best way to do that, don't give them a bunch of opportunities. So I expect to see a lot of those guys. I expect Bryan Juice Jenkins to get the ball however they can get it to him. And that's the receiver that transferred in. Whether it's jet sweeps, screens, reverses, whatever, I expect him to get some touches to try to outflank the defense, which is going to be hard because we all know how fast FAMU is. But I would expect him to try that a few times. And then defensively, again, I'm just going to give credit to the entire D-line. Are they the best D-line in the SWAC? No, they're not, but I think they have some talent. I think they have some talent, especially on the edge. I'm blanking on his name, but number 9, their defensive end is a good player. And so we have to be able to get him going, get him freed up one-on-one and let him make some plays. if we're going to have a chance.
Yeah, nine is Keyshawn Johnson.
There you go,
yeah.
Keyshawn Johnson. I should have known that because he's the same name as the receiver from Alabama State. I should have known that.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I always sometimes get when I hear people talking about. I'm like, they're not talking about the Alabama State receiver. Yeah, no. Okay. You guys got any final questions for Coach Black there before we wrap up the segment with him? Anything you want to jump in there?
Yeah, I got one quick one, Coach. You get your breakdown of Prairie. Give me your breakdown of Prairie quarterback. Give me a breakdown of Musa and his maturation from last year to this year.
Funny thing you said that. I probably text Musa 3 weeks ago. I told him I'm gonna choke him when I see him, because I know how talented he is, and you guys have only seen 70% of what we. And I say, and me and Willie, when we first brought him in, what we expected him to be. And that was still good enough to be player of the year. So let that sink in. When he is right, and I'm talking right mentally, seeing it the way he's supposed to see it, fundamentally, there's not a lot of guys in the country that spin it like he does. I mean, he throws one of the most, you guys seen some of the deep balls that he throws. It's some of the most beautiful throws I've ever seen. Yeah. So when he's on, and it's going to be a tough day for anybody. Ask North Carolina. They struggle with him. So, but he, again, what I can say is that he's learned how to deal with adversity. He's learned how to deal with Coach Simmons, because you guys probably know better than the fans do. Coach Simmons can be hard on QBs. Yeah. And he's learned how to deal with that, how to take what he says and not how he says it, and take that and process it and then translate it on the field. But one thing that he's always been able to do is be smart with the ball. You haven't seen a bunch of turnovers. You've seen a few, but not a lot, which is good and always keeps you guys in the game. So he's had a good year, and he would even tell you not a great year. And he's got more to prove. He's got a big stage to do that on Saturday and potentially going forward. So I'm just super proud of him. I texted him and told him I was so proud of him. This is something that we talked about when he first signed. He's coach. I just want an opportunity. I just needed somebody to believe in me, and we told him we was going to believe in him. And you heard Coach Simmons say it a lot too, that he just, he tells his quarterbacks all the time, you don't have to worry about looking over your shoulder. I believe in you. I chose you to be the starter, so you're going to be the starter. And now 2 years later, he's off the player of the year. So I'm just happy for him. Congratulations to him. And like I said, good luck to him on Saturday.
All right. Where will you be watching the game at?
I'll be at home. So usually Saturdays we practice in the morning. We have a walkthrough in the morning, and then in the afternoons I'm at home. So I'll be at home watching guys. I think you guys kick off at 4.
4 Eastern.
Yeah,
4
Eastern.
Eastern.
It'll be 1 o'clock for me. So I'll be at home on my couch, and me and my wife and my parents are flying in because they're going to the game Sunday. So we'll all be watching, and we're gonna see what happens.
Hey, there you go. There you go. Hey, and by the way, good luck to you guys, man. I got a small thought that you guys can win the West. I'm not gonna say I got a little pizza money down on. I think y'all can sneak the West out of there. Y'all are 4-1 in the division quietly.
Hey.
Nobody, they talking about that other team up on the Bay.
We just gonna be where our feet are. We got to win this week. We win this week, and then people start looking at us and talking about us, and we're gonna keep saying, just win the next game. Just win the next game.
Go.
So we'll see what happens.
All right. Well, hey, Coach, thank you for your time tonight, and enjoy the game. Hopefully we get a good one, and we appreciate you, and hopefully we get a chance to talk to you again down the road. All right?
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys, man. Good luck Saturday.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate you, Rattler Nation. Show your support any way and every way that you can. Fangs up. Make sure to strike, and strike again. If you can be at that breakfast meeting on Saturday morning, 9 o'clock, Hansel Tooks Rec Center, be there. Let's let people with the money, people with the organizational ear of the important people, let's let them know that we care and that we want to support and we want to see this thing happen. All right, now I'm done. Thank you. Good night. God bless. Go Rattlers. # beat PV2X.
Let's go. Champion.